hello.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm doing well, but today I had a client session right up to the moment. So I
Okay,
just finished up.
all right, not a problem.
How about you? How's your day going?
So far so good. Thanks for
Great.
asking.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. So welcome. I'm happy you could make the time to come, Antonio. So Antonio, you are doing a lot of different things. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. You've been doing LinkedIn coaching, all kinds of different activities.
Okay, so yes, presently right now I do sales and marketing for individuals and businesses. I lecture at CTS College virtually for individuals who want to enhance their sales experience, and also LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is an awesome platform for any individual, any entrepreneur, any person who willing to build a professional network. And seeing that I'm in sales, LinkedIn is basically my strategy tool where I leverage to connect with individuals and help them to make the right buying decision. So at the end, they wouldn't feel resented of the purchase that they made, whether it be a service or a product.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And you're working virtually, or you have contact with your clients in person?
Yeah, so virtually, like in my country, I will basically go and meet physically, but internationally, seeing that we're not limited to any um, sort of technology going forward, I think that virtually is the best option. You meet with someone when it's needed, but if it is, you can have that relationship, that connection with them virtually, so be it.
Absolutely. I fully agree. But it's also a little bit difficult because I do think that virtual, today we want to talk about mental health. And I think that working virtually is great, but it also has the disadvantage of less connection with people. And if you
Hmm.
have to do it, during the whole workday, then it's a little bit of a difficulty for many people, especially extroverted people who want to be around others.
Yeah.
Um, so that's been an issue for many. I know. I talked about that last week, actually. Entrepreneur isolation.
But I think going forward, with technology advancement, virtual is like hybrid will be the best option because you have that balance. But if it is that you can commute from one country to the next, virtual will be the best option. And according to what field that you are in, because, like, for example, if it is that you are in a skill field requiring that hands-on practical training, let's say, for example, like someone who want to learn air condition, right? How to fix air conditions. That now will be something that they need that physical interaction. But if it's someone who want to maybe leverage on LinkedIn or learn how to sell, that is something that you could utilize virtually. And if it is that, sometime you could meet up, well, so be it.
Absolutely. I feel the same way, but I've also worked virtually a lot longer. So I think it's different for me. I'm used to it. And but I think you know there's so we talk about being isolated, and that could affect your mental health. But I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of other things that are going on right now in the world that people are feeling really anxious about, and maybe more vulnerable. uh, we just came out of the COVID, which was very, very tough on everybody.
Yeah.
Either directly, you had somebody close person who got ill with COVID, but in a serious way. I lost my dad from COVID, so my dad passed away from COVID.
Yeah.
And so, it's not a joke. And then we had everything closed down, and everywhere there was like panic, and we didn't know, uncertainty, what will happen next, right? And then
Hmm.
the whole situation, political situation with vaccines, and some people are very mad about this vaccine and saying we shouldn't be forced to do it. And so there was so many arguments between people. And now we have the news is very, very negative again. We had the war in Ukraine this year. Then we have all these problems with job layoffs. So it's like, when do we get a break mentally? When
Yeah.
we don't. There has been no break. It's like after COVID, I thought, okay, now we can be happy again. And then the war in Ukraine happened, right? And
Hmm.
it's Ukraine's a major European country. Russia's very, very powerful. So it's like we can never just relax. Everything has to keep going. Um, and so, you know, what we need to figure out is how can we protect ourselves from all of that negativity, right?
Yeah. I would say how we could protect ourselves by a support system. A support system is very crucial in terms of alleviating burnout and alleviating issues that may take place in our family lives, because due to the pandemic, we saw a lot of individuals lost their jobs, and it was very disheartening to know, because we know that some individuals may have mortgage payments, they may have their children's
Absolutely.
needs, wants, schooling, and all these sorts of things. So it's like, you're waking up each morning and you're living for your children, and you're seeing that you're not too sure if it is that you will have this house that you are living in. You don't know what it is that tomorrow will bring, and that way the uncertainty arises, and that leads to fear. And if it is that we don't have the right significant other, which is our spouse or partner, to really have a conversation with, because sometimes relationships, as some people, when it is that the money decline, the relationship is no more. So if it is that you have a great partner who that you could have that conversation with, that is not about the financial gain, but supporting you, and making sure that the family is okay, I think that we will be able to appreciate life more, and we will start to watch that it's not about the house. We could still wake up each morning and we could watch outside, see the magnificent sky, see a early morning rise. These are the things that we should focus
Mhm.
on at that point in time. The priceless things that money can't buy. So I definitely think that that support system is
Well
much
said.
needed.
I love.
Thank you. Whether it be a friend, a spouse, a family member, or sometimes it could be someone who just asks how your day is going or how are you, and that led to a conversation, and they have that open ear. And sometimes we just want someone to speak with. So I think that if it is we have something like that going forward, it's most important. And I would say crucially also, we must always follow up on each other, whether it be a stranger or friend, just to see how it is that they are going, because we don't know. I could be on this LinkedIn Live today smiling, looking very happy, and I could be the saddest person on LinkedIn right now.
Right.
Some people could keep that with inside, and they wouldn't show the world that they are dumb, or they wouldn't ask for help. And that is something that we really need to start to reach out to each other and build that network, that community, with one another.
I fully agree, and I love those tips. You said a few things that are important for the audience. So, having a support system, and um, I want to point out that sometimes people don't have a good support system. There's
So true.
plenty of people who, for example, if you go work overseas, like I came to France, right? So I'm kind of isolated in a new place. I mean, I know France and everything, but I'm in this new place. But there's a lot of people who are immigrants, complete immigrants. They have nobody at all, and their
Hmm.
family is very, very far away. And so, you can talk to people and keep in touch, but it's super important to figure out how to build a support system. You know, sometimes family's not enough, and
So true.
so this is very important as well. And also the online community. So during COVID, I created a group here on LinkedIn called Honest Conversations. And for over a year, I was doing monthly Zoom calls for people because I thought, okay, everyone's home. This is all isolation with
Mm-hmm.
COVID. So we should find a way to socialize even more. And so that's why I created it. And, it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, there's so many things we can do. Another thing you said was about, you didn't say the word, but basically gratitude is like the sun, every morning you can wake up and you can say, I have a roof over my head. I have enough food, at least for today. There's no war going on, you know. But many people can't say that, right? Many people can't
So
say
true.
there's no war. I have food today. I know where I'm going to sleep today. And I think we take really for granted, especially in Western countries, because we're so rich,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't realize it. We're so spoiled, and so we don't even think about things. Wasting things, throwing away things. So many people don't have that option at all of what we have, and so mental health. It's Gratitude has been a big component in my mental health. um, Also, I don't know if you've ever heard about the law of attraction. The law of
Yeah.
attraction,
Mm-hmm.
it says that you attract either positivity or negativity. And so it's so important to say, whatever you think is true is true.
So true.
So if you're a poor, victimized, no, bad luck, then that's what you will attract. And you
Mm-hmm.
just have to decide. And someone taught me this a long time ago, is to project what you want to become, but you have to act as if you have it right now.
Oh, I love that. And the law of attraction is really awesome because throughout your day should supposed to be positive. And if it is that you have a negative friend, and let's say not every day, but every other day, your friend is really talking about the economy is not doing well, and I'm not getting opportunities, nothing is coming my way. It may sound harsh, but that is not your friend because they basically bringing down you because there is power in the tongue. And I would say that throughout your day, you must always try to focus on something positive. And that way, I will go on YouTube and I will listen to at least one positive motivational video. So it triggers the mind now because sometimes we don't know conscious from unconscious. Because like when it is I'm in a dream, I will think that it's real life scenario, and then when I wake up, I realize this is a dream, and it have me, thinking now that our conscious mind to our subconscious mind, we don't know, if it is we in reality or in a dream. So if it
So
is now, we could trick the mind and always be positive and always have that, positivity each day and going about our day knowing that, hey, tomorrow will be better than the other day and keep on going at it. And the whole idea is to become better each day. We will see success. And I think that success is in us. We just have to portray it each day and never think that, when some people say, hey, I'm poor, it's a poor mindset that you have. So we have to
absolutely.
change our mindset and always think that we are successful and put ourselves out there in that successful manner. The way we dress, the way we talk, the way we treat others, being kind despite someone may be unkind to you. Don't matter about it. Just keep going at it and it will come your way. As Winston Churchill, one of my favorite quotes, he said, success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
Yes, I heard this one. And I think people take for granted this because think about the most important things in your life have nothing to do with money. For example,
So
your health. You can be a multimillionaire, but if you have bad health, like you have a deathly cancer, or all the money in the world. Look, Steve Jobs, poor Steve Jobs. He was a multimillionaire, but they couldn't save him. So think about that. So your health, you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, I don't have too much pain. This is already amazing that your body, because there's so many people with so much more money than you that would die to not feel pain every morning. And there's nothing they really can do. They have all the money in the world, but the doctors say, you have this disease or whatever, we can't help. Love, right? I mean, people just don't understand that there's so many rich, lonely people out there, really unhappy people. Sometimes they're so rich, but they realize all their friends just want their money. They
Hmm.
don't care. They don't
Yeah.
care at all about them. Even their own spouse. Sometimes they're like, I feel my spouse doesn't even really care. As long as I'm bringing the money home, I'm fine. Doesn't
Hmm.
care how I'm doing. The kids just hold out hands, give me money. They don't care. So isn't that sad? It's like, would you trade that for love, for genuine love? And sometimes you don't know the difference because when you have money,
Hmm.
no one's going to admit it. But if you're poor, then you know it's real. You see where I'm
So
headed?
true.
So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
actually a benefit. It's like, well, at least I'm loved. You may have more money, but who knows if they really love you or not.
Hmm.
Um,
So if you are
love.
rich, better you play poor.
Right, exactly. So what does rich mean? And then also happy. Sometimes being rich is like a prison. I'm not saying
Hmm.
that we should aim for wealth. What I'm saying is we have to remember the real priorities, that money is actually on spot 3 in my opinion. First comes health, because you can't do anything if you're not healthy.
Yeah.
So take care of this only body you have. Your mind health as well, right?
Hmm.
People forget that you have to take care. What you said earlier about watching inspirational videos. So if you're feeling depressed, everything you put into your mind is having an effect on you subconsciously. So if you're just watching video games with a lot of violence, then you go to sleep, you think your mind is resting. No, your mind is still playing that shooter game
Hmm.
or running from, somebody. But that's another thing, is all the best things are actually free, because love is free. Taking care of your body, you don't need any money to go outside and really
No.
do some, it's very, very good. There's so many things you can do physically with cost no money. um, and knowledge, everyone has access today. You have absolutely no excuse not to be able to have the best, most expensive coach in the world, because every
Yeah.
day you could be saying, this is my mentor. I'm listening to all the videos from that person. I'm reading all the books I can find about that person. And every month you could have a new coach. And these are people who are the top leaders of the world, live and dead. So you're
Hmm.
basically like, surrounding yourself with everything. And you're like, I don't worry, because this is all I can get it for free, right? So we've never lived in a time like that where this virtual doesn't even play any role anymore, right? You could be making the same money as somebody in America, because they're looking for hiring a service. They are going to pay the price that they are used to paying, right?
Hmm.
So, but you could be in a very far away in a different country, and so there's just so many new opportunities that have never existed before. We should be actually really excited about these things, you know
Yeah. And the thing about it is application. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you are not applying yourself, well, then after that knowledge becomes obsolete. And I think that we need that coaching, someone to inspire us, motivate us to do great things every day. When it is we watch athletes, if they didn't have a coach to push them, LeBron James wouldn't be LeBron James. Michael Jordan wouldn't be Michael Jordan. Yes, they have the talent, but the attitude will beat talent any day. And that is the thing. I think that we are in a dilemma in this era with. We have all the knowledge, but individuals are not applying themselves. We are more lazy than anything because we are given so much different stipends or so much different things from government in terms of assistance that we tend to want to live off of that and don't want to try to work and elevate ourselves. We are living where people are most comfortable. They do not want to be uncomfortable. And if you are not uncomfortable, how will you grow? And that is something people don't understand. They think that, all right, let's say I'm making 50,000 US annually, and they think that that is good when you could be making more than that. And the idea is not to make this to help your family, but the idea is to help people around you. And some people don't understand the bigger picture because you might be in a great position and you have the opportunity to help someone else, but you decide now just to be comfortable when you could be uncomfortable and really help that person in need because that person may be handicapped, may be crippled, and cannot help themselves at all. So that is the way this era is mixed up. Our minds in the wrong place, and it's causing a burden to the rest of the world because who's supporting who at the end of the day.
What you're saying is so powerful because it's not about us, it's about leaving a legacy. Everything
Yes.
we're doing, we have the opportunity and the duty to leave the earth better than we found it. So just to take from the earth and take for ourselves, that's not really dignified. That's not a life. For me, it's like, how are you going to create more than there was before? And I really love to think about creating something from nothing. Like where right now there's nothing, I can build something. And I don't need money. I don't need
Mhm.
help. Everything's in here. And that's the beauty is you can contribute even kindness. Start by being kind with people because you create a movement of kindness. And once you set that movement, then other people start being kind because you've set that tone, you know? And we don't even realize the impact you can have on people, but mostly inspire them because, you know, younger people, they tend to look right around their role models,
Mhm.
so they always so there's two mentalities. There's the mentality, okay, I come from this neighborhood, no one has ever made any money, no one leaves the neighborhood, everyone's has bad life, so I'm just gonna this is my future. Or they're gonna say, hey, that guy who's now playing basketball, or who's running a successful company, or he's a movie star, he's from here, he was born and raised here, he got out, and now he's giving back to help build a school or hospital, or he's completely redone the whole neighborhood. He gave so much money that now everyone has a better life.
Yeah.
These are the inspirational people that you will remember. you know so you're not just making an impact for yourself, you're making an impact on a whole generation. Your name will be something, it will mean something to. And I always like to think of my funeral, I'm like, okay, when I die, I'm dead, so who cares, right? But did I make a little impact on the world? And how will I know that unless I people will be sad when I die, you know
Yeah.
and it's true that that sounds weird, but it's kind of a good measure. So
Mhm.
one thing you said as well is, setting goals is really important for mental health. I think that empty head and idle hands, they make depressed people, they make thieves, they make like
Mhm.
nothing good comes from that. So it's like hard work plus fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is like, begin with the end in mind. That's what Stephen Covey said, like
Yeah.
what's your goal? And Napoleon Hill said, wait, goals are dreams with a deadline.
Goals are dreams with a deadline.
Right.
Oh, love that.
So
Yeah.
if you don't have
Love.
that goal, like what's your actual goal, And so many people are so afraid to make a goal. So the goal is always like, make some money, get a job, get promoted. And mostly it's about themselves. Buy a
Yeah.
car, buy a house, pay for this, pay for that. And I'm like, do you understand that if those are small goals, how can you push yourself further and think bigger? How about I tell you, okay, your goal should be to build a hospital for the town, or your
Mm-hmm.
goal should be to build a whole building for the town, something big, push yourself further, or to be on TV. Like, our goals should scare us. They should always push us out of our comfort zone, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And that's where I think
Correct.
mental health can come in, because um, I just don't have time for it. I frankly don't have time ever for, if I have to deal with sadness, I deal with it and I move forward, because I think that the more you are goal focused and you become so driven and optimistic, the the athletes, I've heard that they visualize winning. So they
Okay.
learn
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
so in their subconscious mind, they see themselves winning over and over and over again. So when it comes to the game, they've
Natural.
already
Yeah.
because what you said is your subconscious doesn't know the difference between
Mm-hmm.
reality and thought. So if you're like thinking, okay, I've already won, I've already built a building, I'm already successful, then everything you do in your day will become simple. Is it yes or is it no? You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be sitting around watching TV. You're not going to be sitting on the corner doing nothing, because you're going to be like driven. You're going to be like, no, no, no. I have plans, because life is really, really short. You know, that's something that I see every day. I'm like, gosh, life is really short.
And I think people don't really realize how short life is. If it is that tomorrow we know that we are going to die, we will do so much today that it will be
Absolutely.
unbelievable. And we have to sometimes think about, it's not about us, because as human beings, we are self interest in ourselves. We put ourselves first, which you're supposed to balance it. When they say put yourself first, don't mean that everything should be done and it should always be about you, but meaning that love yourself first and then you could love others, which is most important. But I think that we should have daily goals, and it much better than, I would say, monthly goals. Some people will have monthly, quarterly, and annual goals, but daily goals, you will see that growth in a short space of time. So imagine each day you have daily goals. Within 2 months, 3 months, you will see that significant difference, because at the end of the day, you have a target to meet, which is your daily goals, and you're meeting that target when the day comes. Some days it may be out of your control, which that is okay, but the other day you will try to not basically do the day from before, but do that particular day, because the day before was out of your control. So never feel that, because I didn't do the day before, that I didn't do well, because some things just really out of our control and we have no control over it. So the whole approach is that we should always consider that tomorrow is not certain, and we have to be doing great things. Always do something. An act of kindness goes a long way. Even self, if it is someone connect with you on LinkedIn and you go on their post and you click like and put a comment, that is basically an act of kindness. They may not reciprocate that offer, but at the end of the day, you take ahead and you did that. And sometimes you feel even good inside, and you could never tell that maybe that person remember that they wasn't good at that particular day. The day was not a great day. And maybe a week after they reach out and they thank you, for doing that. And they may even go on further, for opportunity or whatever the case is, because life is uncertain. You could never tell. Your new connection could be your new opportunity. So in that way, we must always show kindness. And when we show kindness, it alleviates the mental health issues that we have. So as you mentioned earlier on all too, physical fitness is most important. Each day I try to wake up and, pray, do my normal daily chores, and then go to the gym. And when I go to the gym, I feel so relaxed after the gym that if I didn't go to the gym, I could have go 8 hours. By going to the gym daily, I could go an extra 4 hours. So that will be 12 hours, because my body is more energized. I feel clean about myself, your mental health also, because sometimes you have issues in your life and you're on that treadmill, you're burning all that issues, or you may be doing some lift weighting and you're just thinking about that issues and you're pushing yourself. And that way, that mental health issues could alleviate, as simple as that. And I think that gymming is most important. We are seeing a lot of people worldwide right now who are dying from different sicknesses. Diabetes is a big factor. Diabetes could break down your kidneys and all these things. So, let's try to eat differently, and see a difference in ourselves. And people will see the difference because your body mannerism, the way how you speak, it more bright, your senses, more active because more blood is pumping in your system. So physical fitness, despite you might be an entrepreneur sitting down in front of a computer, I think you will need that physical fitness
Oh yeah.
because you are just stagnant, you are just there, you're not doing anything. So go out there, exercise, get our mental health in the right place, and we will see a big difference, in our lives, and other people will see it also.
I think so too. I mean, you really have to, I see people who are depressed and they say to me, um, they never do any exercise. So the more depressed they are, the more they sitting.
Hmm.
And I understand this is the something's pulling them to just stay there, don't do anything. And I'm like, but this is the remedy. You have to go. You have to force yourself. And this is maybe where a good friend and a support team can be in play,
Yeah.
because on their own they might never find it within themselves if they're depressed, if they're sad. And even it doesn't have to be partying, maybe you really are sad because you lost somebody, or you had something terrible happen, or you're worried about stuff. But get out and just go into the nature and take a walk. And maybe someone will say, hey, let's just go, I'm going to take you, we're going to go walk somewhere, go to a nice place. In San Francisco I go to the beach. In France I go to the mountain. There's always a place to go, the forest. There's so many different options. And then you come back and there's something healing about the forest, about the nature in general. um, so I think that's something that can really help mental health. It's obligatory, you have to take care. And what you said about eating, so I notice a huge difference in my mental health when I eat sugary food, when I drink
Hmm.
alcohol, when I eat anything with lots of flour, fried foods. So I think once in a while, everything of those things are fine. So once in a while, you have a party. Okay, we had some alcohol, we had some fried foods, depending on what you believe. But I do think that keep it to the very minimum, like, because these things are not going to do anything good for you, not at all. On the contrary, you feel so much better without certain foods, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure. And I would like to say that um, intermittent fasting is something great. I try after 7 not to eat anything whatsoever, and I may eat the next morning 1 p.m. I may eat the following morning 8 a.m. But intermittent fasting is awesome because it cleanses you, and you're not putting yourself at a particular time to eat. Some people think that you're supposed to eat at a particular time each day, but it's not necessarily so. And that when you eat food after 7 p.m. in the night, food takes approximately 6 hours to digest. So think about it. If it is that you eat food after 7 and then you go and sleep 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or you go and eat 9 o'clock and you go and sleep 11 o'clock, obviously
yeah,
you will be putting on size. And also is the type of food that we are consuming, as you mentioned, the sugary stuff, things that will bring on diabetes, because some people they may not get it innate, from birth, but as time go by and by living an unhealthy lifestyle, it could come on you, and that could cause other illnesses, and that is something that is mashing up a lot of people all over the world. So eating is 60% of your health, and exercising is 40% of your health. So the better you eat is the better for you. Some people, they gym a lot, but they do not eat right, and their body do not look clean. They may have broad shoulders, nice muscles and these things, but their belly is very big. So we have to balance everything, eat right, exercise at least 3 times per day. It don't have to be weight training. It could be just outdoor exercises. A walk for approximately a half an hour is great. You could run also, because walking does alleviate mental health, issues, problems that you may have. And these are the things that we have to do besides of our entrepreneurship journey. And we will see that difference. Sometimes we start to think better, of ideas start to come to us, we execute it, and we realize all the time we was being stuck, but we needed that exposure, a different environment. You mentioned about going to the mountains, and being able to think much better, because when it is, we are surrounded by, green nature, by great scenery, we tend to, feel that attraction, and that is basically a law of attraction also, because when it is, we see a nice ambience, and we see nice things around us, we feel nice inside, and then after, our mind becomes clear and we start to think better, and ideas and different thoughts that we had so long ago, it just come back to us, and the puzzle basically just everything work out the right way, and then boom, Monday morning you have the idea for the next opportunity for yourself.
That is so true for me personally. So whenever I feel stressed or I can't figure out something, I go for a walk. And
Mm-hmm.
or when I'm upset too. I'm like, I just need a walk. And because when I walk, I calm down and then I start thinking and my thoughts become so much clearer. There's no distraction. One of the other things that I do with walking is I read books because I listen to the audio version.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to either audiobook or podcast. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's double benefit because I think, okay, I'm going to walk so far until the book is over. Some books are like 8 hours. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
today I'm going to walk like 1 hour and I'm going to try to get until the end of half the book, whatever. But it's true that, this is also a way of people saying, well, I'm too busy to read books. And I say, well, why don't you just get the audio version and then you can listen to the book,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I saw Adana said exercise in addition to other mental health therapy really contributes to better mental health. So true. And I love the fact
Absolutely.
that you say you go and take a long walk and listen to audiobooks, because it really clears your mind. If it is like I'm going for a long drive, instead of to listen to the radio or put in a USB and listen to music, I tend to put on my earphones, and while I drive and I'm listening to something motivational, something that I could gain some knowledge that I could better me, in that professional development aspect. So it's like throughout our day, what we will do, sit down and watch TV, and then these celebrities, they are already celebrities. So what are we getting out of that? We have to professionally develop ourselves. Jim Rohn, he said this: you are the average of the 5 people that you spend your most time with, which is so true. And when it is we watching our um, home, inside our home, and we watching all our nice furniture and all these things and thinking that is valuable, our bookshelf should be more valuable than that, because it's our books. In terms of when we read that and store that information, then we get ideas and we are basically able to formulate a business, and we grow, and revenue comes in there. So I think that the mindset that we have to adapt to is a mindset that people who are around us, which falls back to what Jim Rohn said: you are the average of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. I think our circle might have to change, because if it is that we have the same circle and it's not onto the professional development aspect that we want to climb, then after we would not climb, because we are surrounded by things that wouldn't develop ourselves as individuals on that professional scale.
It's good you say that because today I posted my LinkedIn newsletter about masterminds. So, and I don't know if you've been in a mastermind before, but the whole article I'm telling you why you should join a mastermind and that not enough people. So, what I see happening today is everyone's looking for answers, everyone's consuming content, following
Mhm.
people, looking for a guru, an influencer, um, joining groups, free or paid. So I get invited all the time to different groups. And the truth is, I think that this is also a form of distraction because in the end, everyone's just consuming, right? Thanks for stopping by, Juana. We're talking about masterminding. You came at the right time because having a mastermind is not the same as a group. And I think people don't, when I say the word mastermind, I ask, are
Mhm.
you in a mastermind? People are like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm in a community. And I'm like, that's not a mastermind. A mastermind is what you said, Antonio, is you find people who are like-minded, pushing themselves, hungry, driven, ambitious, focused. They're not going to go party and drink. They're not going to watch TV. They're the ones that get up, go to the gym, eat right, don't drink alcohol, take care of
Mhm.
themselves, take care of their family, have dignity. This is really important. Your integrity. What kind of a person are you, right? And you support one another in your goals. And because that's the focus of the mastermind, everyone sets their goals and you're pushing each other, you're helping each other. And if we look at athletes, why do you think they have teams? Most of the
Mhm.
sports are team sports. Well, because what do you think? Of course, you feel they've got my back. These are my brothers, these are my sisters. We are going to win. And it's a whole different feeling of they're counting on me. Like I can't let them down because if I don't show up, they won't show up, right? And so
Yeah.
I find that this is the best motivator is to be in a mastermind with other people. The goal is to find the right people, okay? You really have to do that part you have to do carefully is to figure out who would be a good person to be in your mastermind. But and the other thing is don't let it get too big, right? Because if it gets too big, then it's almost like the guru again, right? The one
Mhm.
person who's leading it, everyone else is just listening. That's not what you want. You want that everyone is equal. There's no, somebody started the mastermind, but that's not the point. The point is to everyone has an equal responsibility to show up for each other, to support one another, and we're all pushing each other. And that's something that I don't think enough people have. It's not
And,
community.
yeah.
It's
And
much more than that.
they don't understand. It falls back just would like to share this the good book of life, which is principles, the Bible. And when you check, Jesus Christ, when he was preaching in the synagogue, which is a church, he never had a big crowd. He always had a small congregation because he didn't want a big crowd because he wouldn't know who is the Judas in the crowd. And when we watch like the 12 disciples did so much. And what people don't understand is all of them had a great profession. They are business people. And if we watch business in the Bible, in the Hebrew meaning, is faith. Because a business person entering something which is unknown, you don't know if it is you will profit, you don't know if it is you will lose. So a business person is a man of faith, and people wouldn't watch it like that. So if you could go right into a business, you have a great level of faith compared to someone who might be employed in an
Absolutely.
organization. They have no faith because they are fearful that if they go into a business, they will lose. Then after you are not walking by faith. So, we have to wonder sometimes if it is we understand life and the principles behind it because in terms of that mastermind, we need to understand certain things and understand that like-minded individuals are individuals who are persons of integrity, are persons who live by principles, are persons who are willing to support each other. And most people may not understand that because they don't understand the principles of life. And that is something that you have to teach yourself, in terms of everyday living. And the best way to learn is not by your mistakes, but by watching someone and not going into their mistakes, but knowing to yourself that you do not want to be a mistake what they did, be of that mistake. So I think the best way we always
Learn.
have to learn.
Watch and learn. Watch and learn, right? But it's interesting, two things you said. So faith, it's so underrated and so important, because I think that people who have true faith, they're not afraid. The
No,
fear
they're
goes
not
away,
afraid.
because
They're
as soon as
fearless.
you know how I say, give it up to the higher power. Give it up to the higher
Mhm,
power, because as soon as you feel, I'm just a vessel, a vessel, this is flowing
mhm,
through me because I'm called to do something. Whether it's a religious belief or it's just your faith in the universe, it's like, I
mhm.
know that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have absolute faith in myself because of that. And the true reason people don't aim higher, they don't set goals, they sit and watch TV and they drink and they just party, is because deep down, they don't have faith in
Yeah, they don't have
themselves.
it.
They don't
Yeah.
think. So if I say, would you bet on yourself? What if I say, you bet on yourself over the life of someone else? That's very scary. But if you
Mhm.
believe unwaveringly, you know what? Like you said, fail forward. Keep failing and you will win. That's the man or woman you should be worried about. If you have a competitor, don't worry about the most popular, the richest, the most beautiful. Worry about the one who will never stop. Because sooner or later, the beautiful one will be tired of the popularity and they will leave. They will go find some new toy. The smart one will overthink things and then will look down on people and will be tired and disgusted of everyone. But the person who's like, you know what? I'm not the most beautiful, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the richest, but I will not stop. That's the person who I'm, even talent, the person who's more determined to win will win over the person who's talented. Because the person who's talented, the person who's rich, the person who's smart, who's beautiful, they take that for granted because they didn't earn it. So for
And that
them, it's
just
just something not, but for you, if you don't have all the, top, but you are determined, you will always beat everyone else in the end, you
And
know?
I would say that is for companies also because we see big conglomerate companies get beat back by smaller and medium enterprises is because that they get so relaxed and think that their customers will always be there, always be serving them, always be buying their products, accepting their services. And the small and medium enterprises each day strategically going on board and putting certain strategies in place to be able to penetrate through the gaps of the large organizations because every
Absolutely.
company have gaps. And once it is that you now as a small and medium enterprise business realize the gaps and decide to work on it on a way to penetrate these gaps, then after you could chop down those big conglomerate companies. And that is why we must never be comfortable. We must always be uncomfortable because we could never know, today we on top and tomorrow we straight down at the bottom.
I love what you said. That's the right mindset. Um, and I think that takes courage, and not many people. So we talk about some of the best qualities you need to have. We talked earlier about gratitude. Gratitude keeps you going, right? Faith
Hmm.
keeps you going, and courage. Because if you have those three things, really nothing can harm you. You know,
Nothing.
you just have to, as long as you're taking care of yourself, because like you said, if you physically you start not taking care of yourself, it's over, because your mental, you won't have, you will get tired, and you won't have that extra hours to give your best. You won't show up with the right energy. This is so important to be mentally well, but it's all connected. You got to keep everything. Um, Stephen Covey again, he says, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw. But that's another reason why I believe in masterminds, because I do think people don't. I think going at it alone is the wrong way. We sometimes, this is also going back to mental health. My people are entrepreneurs. That's who
Hmm.
I'm here to serve. That's my mission, is to really help entrepreneurs grow. Yeah. And I think a lot of the people I serve are single member entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. They don't have any
Yeah.
employees. They're hustlers. They're working on their own. And it's so easy to lose track, right? It's so easy to go into the wrong direction. You have to take that.
No,
You
no, we could continue.
okay?
Sorry about it. Yeah.
I'm not going
It's
to
just a
keep you much
message.
longer.
Yeah, it's just a message came in.
Ah, okay. No, I mean, I'm not going to keep you much longer, because you've been so generous with your time today, to wait for me
No
after I have
problem.
my coaching.
I
But
appreciate
I
it
think,
and I enjoying the conversation, I would say.
but I can tell you that my biggest problem with my people is fear. So there's action takers and there's fence sitters. And the fence sitters, they're sitting there watching, and they're like, oh, this and this and this. Someday I'll do that. Oh, yeah. When this happens, then I will take
Mhm.
action. And, I made a post. I think you saw this post the other day about the furnace. You have a furnace to burn the wood, and you tell the furnace, okay, give me heat, and then I will put the wood in. That doesn't work like that. So you have to get past the fear and take action. And that's the hardest part for people, is just to understand that, all this overthinking, all this worrying, anxiety, all it's doing is hurting you. It's
So
not.
true.
What's going to happen? You're sitting there thinking about it. In the meantime, someone else has already done the thing. Just do it and worry about it after you've done it. And afterwards, you'll have much more good worry, because you'll be analyzing, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What will I do next time? And then repeat, repeat, repeat. Don't stop too long. Just like training an athlete, right? You get up every day, you train, you train. People are looking for too many shortcuts too. Like, you can't get a six-pack abs overnight, right? Everyone wants,
Yeah.
but have you noticed, Antonio? Everyone's like trying to sell that. So if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Google,
And weight
get a
loss.
six-pack in
Mhm.
20 days, and there's all these fake gurus selling you, make a, you go to YouTube, try to watch any video, and you will have some young man before the video, the bro marketer, who says, oh yeah, I see you, man, I was like you, and now look, and he has a whiteboard, and he's like showing you, like, look, now I have a, e-commerce shop, and I'm making
Mhm.
100K a month, or, I have the secret. And I'm like, these, it's like so stupid, because the truth is, success comes from hard work. And you have to go through the discomfort, what you said. You have to give up things, you have to sacrifice, and you will be repaid. So it's what we call delayed gratification. But we live in a world where everyone's obsessed with dopamine. We need to have instant, like a drug. That's why we want sugar, that's why we want alcohol, that's why we want all these bad things, because it gives us instant endorphin, right? Oh yeah. But in the truth, the success isn't working like that. Success is, you get up, you keep repeating this over and over, and you don't let this get in your way. Your mental is so laser focused on that goal that you think in your head, I've already achieved that goal. And then you're like a machine. That's what athletes do. You become a machine. Your body becomes part. And you talk to runners, and they will say the last kilometer or the last seconds, it's not my body, it's my mind.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
100% my mind
Mhm.
pushing me further. And this is something I don't think people understand, that business is a lot like sports, you know?
Definitely, and it could correlate sports and your business, because when a coach tells an athlete you need to do, if it's 10 push-ups, 20 passes, 10 kicks of the ball, whatever the case is, and coaching a entrepreneur, today you need to do 20 cold calls, you have to write 20 emails, and you need to put yourself out there on video. If it is that you get that same push every day, I think we will do tremendous. And you mentioned something really awesome that resonated with me in terms of the solopreneurs that you are doing business with right now, helping them, to grow. I think sometimes the fear of a lot of solopreneurs is that the mundane tasks that they are doing, they're not trying to hire someone to do that so that they could focus on bringing in more revenue into their business. The mundane tasks, cold calling, sending emails, you could pay someone for that, writing blogs, and that person now could focus on going to training seminars, being in front of the prospect, doing proposals, having that one-on-one conversation, because the whole idea is that once you could be able to be in front of your prospect, understand your prospects, and handle those objections that they may have. So when you move on to the other prospect, you already have a list of questions or objections that they may have. So you already
Right.
know how to answer that and close business, while the worker that you have, the first person you employed, doing the mundane task that is not beneficial to you to grow your business. So I think that's a great approach for any entrepreneur, solopreneur trying to elevate to go on to the other heights of their business.
Yeah, that's good you mentioned that, because in terms of mental health, overwork is a big contributor to poor
Mhm.
mental health. Because if you overwork, then you're stressed, you're anxious, your body, you're not gonna eat healthy, you're not gonna sleep enough, you're gonna not take exercise, and there's the famous Eisenhower pyramid. It's do, delegate, delete, and something else. Can't remember. Delay, I think delay.
Okay. Yeah.
So four Ds. And this is really important for entrepreneurs to learn, because if you're constantly going and trying to do everything yourself, it's too much. It's really too much. And you're absolutely right. There's so many things um that solopreneurs, they don't have a whole team helping them, so they need to
Mhm.
hire people to help them. Um, and so that could be a big mental health relief for people.
Yeah, because that
Said,
definitely will cause burnout. And you will feel that, so overwhelmed, and you'll think that you're not reaching anyway. But is that you're not having that, um, you're not putting your time to good use. Time management is most important. So when it is you trying to focus on those tasks that not bringing in revenue, when you could focus on the other tasks, obviously you will get that mental burnout.
absolutely. Well said. I'm going to end this here on that
Thank you.
note, because I've given you so much weight and time. But I want
But
everyone to connect with you. So we put your info in the show notes. So thanks for coming, and thanks so much for sharing all your wisdom. I can see that you have a lot of good insights.
thank you very much. And thank you for having me. This conversation was great. Personally, if I could go an hour and a half, I would go. But I know your thing is an hour, but maybe some other time. But it's a great conversation, and I think that everyone should take in, Krista weekly Monday health
Oh,
topic,
thank you.
because at the end of the day, we need to know how to alleviate these mental health issues. This topic is underrated. People not really talking about it, and
No,
if it is that more people talk about this topic and be able to support each other, we will see a significant increase in terms of people feeling more welcome in terms of life itself. Because We didn't even mention Krista, in brief, about two-thirds of men are committing suicide, globally. And that is something we have to wonder, like, what is going on? Because a man's supposed to be the father figure of a household, but sometimes if it is that he feeling so overwhelmed, because remember now, if he is the head of the household and he have to provide, financially, and then he have to support his wife, and then he have to teach his children, principles of life, why it is to be honest, why they should have an education and all these different things. It could be burdensome on a man. And sometimes men, we don't have other men to talk to, because let's be real, who man could be able to cry on a next man's shoulder, but a woman can. Some men
Yes.
think that it's not masculine. So we have a problem as men in society, and I don't know how we could get that support system, because honestly, women have that support system. It have woman empowerment, it have women leadership, and have that going on, because women tend to know women, and they have that instinct within them, right? Because they are the ones who bear our children. So that is something that is spiritual, I would say. And men, it's it's challenging. It is challenging. So that's why we are seeing two-thirds of the population globally committing suicides, and it's very sad to know. And
So sad.
more talks have to be trying to mend in terms of their mental health, because they have no one to talk to and they're just being silent. And that is the worst thing, when it is they have issues and they cannot express it.
So this is perfect timing, because exactly last week on this show, I had Eric Rogel come on, and he runs a mastermind for men.
Yes. Okay.
And
I saw that girl. Yeah.
and we talked exactly about the suicide rates and about what you said, that, you know, in a way it's just hard because the men around you, they have the same problems. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Complain to each other, right? And
Mhm.
so he guides these men into how to express their emotions following the 4 archetypes. So he said there's king, lover, um, was it boy? I think little boy or something.
Mhm.
I can't remember right now, but his stuff is amazing. I mean, this is so good. And he said you have to be a king, a warrior. So warrior is that man who's like, I'm the breadwinner. I'm gonna hustle, and I'm never gonna
Mhm.
show emotion. I'm the strong one. But inside, he has no one to talk to. There's too much pressure on him. And lover is the one who's always creative but never gets serious about life, you know? And so it's
Mhm.
the opposite. And he says that you have to combine them to create the king. So what that means is you can
Mhm.
have part of you that's a worker and tough and strong, but the other part, the lover, has to be in there so you can cry, you can talk about your emotions, you can be, you know that men have feminine qualities as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have masculine qualities. If we do tests, you know, when I'm like working and I'm negotiating, I'm like hustling, this is all very masculine quality, okay?
Mhm.
So when I'm a leader, when I go and I have to manage other people, I have to have tough discussions, I have to do discipline. This is all man, right? Masculine. So men and women, we share the same qualities. So why can't we be half half? Why can't, like, sometimes I can show my masculine side, but of course I have feminine side. So men
Yeah.
should be able to do the same. You should be able to have that safe space where you can talk about your feelings. And like you said, this is another reason to have a mastermind, because it's like you give permission that we're not going to go and do this every day. We're not going to share this with everybody, but this is a place where I can talk about those inner feelings, you know? And like sometimes it feels like too much. And I don't know where to put that energy. I don't know who to tell, because my spouse will be afraid. Like, what do you mean? If you're afraid, I'm
Yeah.
afraid. And women, we react more. So we're like, what? So you don't want that. Don't tell her. But then, so you need to find these masterminds have been really very powerful. So that's why I've repeated it a few times because, you know, nothing against therapy, but I think it's one thing to tell to a therapist. It makes you feel sometimes like something's wrong with me. But if
Hmm.
you go in a group with other men or other women and you realize they feel the same way, then right away you say, wow, there's nothing wrong with me. More people actually have this problem. More people feel the same way. And that makes it makes you feel so much better. Um, so that's something we should end with is that everyone needs to take care of their mental health, but make an effort, do something, go find a mastermind, go find a support team. If you can't find one, build your own,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
pick carefully people, based on integrity, and that's not easy. You can't just call them up and say, hey, do you have integrity? You have to observe them and know this is a person who I can you know, invite, because like you said, it rubs off. That
yeah.
influence is very, very important. So
You need to do that assessment of those individuals who you're bringing into your space, because if it is you don't do that, you could be end up being a victim of something that wouldn't be nice for you. So
no,
really, our assessment of these individuals must be taken seriously. And then when it is that you know that they could come into your space, then well, it's okay. You welcome them wholeheartedly.
absolutely. So wonderful to see you again, and I hope on
Yeah.
Thursday I'm doing a show about finding clients.
Okay.
So if you're free,
I will
come
join.
to that
Yes.
one. I'm just going to be sharing tips about how I go about finding clients to hopefully help people who need to find clients, because that's a very, very big topic especially
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
new entrepreneurs. They don't know where to
Mhm.
start. They don't know how to find the clients. So come join in and say anything you want to add. You're more
Audio
than
live
welcome.
or LinkedIn live?
I'm doing
Au-
live just like
Audio?
this. Yeah,
LinkedIn?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But so on Mondays I do a guest show like this. On
Hmm.
Thursdays I do a solo show, and on Fridays I do two audio shows.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And by the way, my Friday, one of them is just for women. And it's really for women because I want women exactly to have these conversations where they feel very supported and understood.
Hmm.
And it's been going so well. So, and this is more mental health driven than business. Because for me, everything is connected. Some people may say, why are you talking about mental health? But the truth is, you can't be your best in anything. You can't be the best in your personal life or your professional life if you don't have rock solid mental, you know? And
Yeah.
this is
So
something you cultivate. You cultivate this. This is not given. We all have doubts. We all have tough times, but we know we have the faith that we're just being guided, that the universe is going to always put bread on the table. If you lose
mhm.
a client, don't worry, tomorrow there's a new one coming. I know it, and I know because I have this faith, and I've been proven over and over in my life, always right. Even in the toughest times, something came to help me. So this is
And
I believe so strong in this.
the greatest thing about entrepreneurship that people don't understand when they're providing a service, you might be working for a company and you might sell a product, and you might just be able to sell that product in your country because your company may not expand to other countries. But when you are selling a service, and you are selling a service, virtual or physical, you have the entire world to sell to, that you are not limited. So if it is you put a lot of emphasis into the service that you are providing, you could see a lot of great opportunities. So that is the great thing about entrepreneurship. So we more focus on being fearful, but we're not focusing on being fearless and seeing the opportunities that right in our face. Most of the times, as individuals, we have the answers, but we don't know that that is the answer. or answers. And you
So
mentioned
true.
something about no, not you mentioned something like what you are doing right now and what we are doing right now, being on a Lincoln Live. It has so many people and maybe people in the audience who are so fearful, just putting themselves out there. But we are human beings. Even self, if you make a mistake in your audio life, even self, if you are feeling nervous, but you are doing something out of the ordinary, you are being uncomfortable. And just by doing that, you will grow. And as time go by, when it is you watch yourself today, 2022 to 2025, you will see the significance in growth from 2022 to 2025 because you will better yourself as you become repetitive, doing the same thing over and over. So I think that, just would like to tell the audience, just be fearless. Most importantly, be fearless and be respectful of everyone and show an act of kindness each day. And you will see that everything around you will change.
I love it. That's such great
Thank you.
advice. All right, Antonio. Now I'm gonna let you go. Have a
Yes,
great rest of your day, and thank you again. It's been great.
you're welcome. Anytime.